live with the Theskyereport Voices of the Homeless. Right now we're speaking with
Anthony Jonathan Johnson.
Okay, so how did you become homeless?
Well, I became homeless when I first came out here. I lived in a board and care home, and then the things was going kind of shaky around there, and the lady couldn't keep the place for only like 2.5 years. Then she had to close the place down because guys was drinking beer and smoking that stuff all around the home, and she had to close it down. So I had to move to another board and care home, and then they moved me to another board and care home, and they kept putting me in board and care homes for over 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And then I got a place on 10th Street, on 11th Street, and then that place was an independent board and care home, but then the guys still kept on messing with them beers and drinking and messing up the phone, and then they said, hey, we got to close this place down because you guys are making too much noise around here. And the college kids was up there on the roof playing music all the time. So it would keep me awake. So I had to go to the hospital and get pills to make me go to sleep. And then they said, hey, Mr. Johnson, we're going to get you in a different place. Then they said, well, we'll move you pretty soon. So they moved me down to 7th Avenue in Santa Cruz. I had to stay there for about 8 to 9 months before they found me another place. And they put me back in a board and care home. And ever since then, I've been going to board and care homes. And I lived over on McLaughlin and Tully. I lived on 11th Street. I lived on 24th and William Street. I lived quite a few board and care homes. But the one board and care home I was in, the lady was getting too old, so she had to close that place down anyway. So she sold the house.
So how did you become homeless then?
Because I didn't have nowhere to go at the time. And they told me, go to the hospital. I kept going to the hospital, but they would only keep me in there for 72 hours.
They kept you for 72 hours.
And then they let me go. They gave me my medicine.
Okay. So how long were you on the streets?
I was on the streets for about maybe 3 to 3.5 weeks. About 3.5 weeks. Then they put me in another board and care home.
Okay. All right. What was it like being on the streets for you?
Well, people thought that I was drinking and messing with drugs, but I wasn't. And they would take me to McDonald's. They would take me to Jack in the Box and get me food, and then leave me in a place and say, hey, we'll get to another place sooner or later. And they kept doing that to me. Until then, I found this place on North 5th Street, 144 North 5th Street. I've been there almost 4 years now, so things been going better for me now.
Okay. Why do you think the homeless are perceived so negatively by people?
Because most of them say they need money, but when they get the money, they go buy beer and drugs with it. And I keep saying, hey, I thought you said you was hungry. Oh, man, I want a beer. They would have a beer and have something to eat. Go ahead.
So I guess my question is what things do you think can be done to make the homeless situation better?
Give them a place where they can take their medicine. Give them a place where if they can drink beer, let them drink beer. But if they take a medicine, I don't think they need to drink beer.
What about those that are mentally ill? There are a lot of mentally ill people that are on the streets, and that's preventing them from getting jobs and basically being able to take care of themselves.
Well, you know what? Try to put them into a board and care home and let them understand they have to be in at a certain time so they can get their medicine.
Okay. So what services did you receive, other than being in a board and care, what services did you receive when you were out in the streets?
Well, I got with Ukajima, and I've been with Ukajima the whole time, and they always kept finding me a place, but the places kept getting closed down. So they had to keep sending me back to EPS.
So with board and cares, I mean, some of them can be quite run down. I mean, what do you think of being in a board and care since you spent most of your life at board and cares?
Well, the people want to understand. They need to understand that if you're taking your medicine, you don't need to be going to the liquor store. And some guys just don't want to take their medicine and they want to go to the liquor store.
But what about the care? What do you think about the care of board and cares? I mean, I've heard that they have roaches and fleas and bed bugs and different things like that. Have you ever experienced any unhealthy living conditions when you were in a board and care?
Well, when I was in the board and care home, it didn't have bad bugs in there, but it had roaches in it. But they had exterminators come there all the time, about every 3 months. Now where I'm at, though, they done tenanted my house, and I had to stay away from there for almost 2 months. And they told me I can go back once they get it all taken care of. So now, where I'm at, I'm okay with it, because I got me a room, I got me a place to sleep, and I get 3 meals a day. And the people said, hey, as long as you take your medicine, you're welcome to have a place to sleep. But you got to take your medicine. That's what they kept telling me. Was it long enough? Okay.
What's up? I'm your host, Sky, with the Theskyereport Voices of the Homeless. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it loud.